Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 12th Wagyu Olympics, called Zenkyo in Japanese. And in this episode, I'm going to be taking you inside the event. And this is one of my favorites. This is 3 generations of Wagyu cattle. And the purpose is to show the local lineages and encourage Wagyu brands to breed within their region instead of buying cattle from different regions. I kind of really think this is a great category for the breeding division. And I'll explain a little bit about the Wagyu Olympics and how these athletes or contestants compete. Good morning, everybody. I'm here on the media perch, looking down at the Wagyu and the Ushi, and it's kind of interesting to over the last couple of let me get up here over the last couple of days to get a better idea of the Wagyu industry, but how to compare the brands, because I've always wondered which Wagyu brand is the most delicious to eat. I've never been able to really tell the difference in the taste. So hopefully, by coming here, I can get a better idea by seeing the competition and understanding what is the most important thing with raising Wagyu beef. So I'll try my very best to explain, but I'm new to this quote unquote sport. It's very fierce. They're very competitive here. The ranchers and the cattle, you can hear them both. So let's get to it. There's my camera. I'm recording it in 8K as well as a wide angle here for the main channel episode. So basically, there's no battling. It's not like bullfighting. It's just a competition. There's 2 divisions. I can explain a little bit about the Wagyu Olympics. There's 2 divisions. There's one that would be the breeding and the breeding lineage, the beauty uh, of the breed. And then there's a second division, which is the meat, and that's judged in a different area. And I'm going there this afternoon, and I've come here this morning for this one because it's awesome. This is mother, daughter, and grandma, mother, and daughter, and she's wandering off there. And the judges, you can tell who the judges are. They've got these hats on. Oh, they're in the distance there on the far corner, the official-looking hats. And what they do is they take a look at the breed. I'm trying to pin down the kaicho of the event to kind of explain this to me. I had him yesterday, but he took off before I could get the interview, so I'm going to try again today. But it's very important that they explain this in English to everybody, because the winner of this ends up being the Wagyu steaks in the White House, or the Academy Awards. They actually were eating Miyazaki beef at the White House and Academy Awards, I think last year, because Miyazaki had won the Wagyu Olympics. So there are huge implications for this abroad. The winner is the winner. But the competition is really important, I think, because every 5 years, everybody wants to come out here and be number one. And you can tell the strong players and the weak players. And you can tell the regions that have local support, because they can bring a lot more Wagyu here, a lot more cows here to compete. And then there's some prefectures that don't have local support, and they can only afford to bring 1 or 2, and they don't have the same kind of cheering section. If you look over to the side, check it out. This is what I'm talking about. You see the blue there? That's Kagoshima, which is the host. They have an entire block of fans. Not just fans, but other ranchers and people in the industry could come out here. The red over here is Hiroshima, and then you see the pink and the white. That's Hokkaido. And I believe the purple is Iwate. I'm not quite sure on that one. But Hokkaido's got these hats. You see them? They look like my hat there. Hokkaido's got pretty cool uniforms. The pink is striking. And of course, the media's here. There's no international media, I guess, because they couldn't get into the country or something. But I think this is an event that's worth covering. But the thing is, they just don't do a good enough job to explain everything. Even in Japanese, it's too, I don't know, rigid. So hopefully I can just boil this down and make it a little bit fun, which is what it should be. And I hope we can teach a little bit, understand a little bit more about Wagyu beef. You can hear them moving in the background. I love that. So I'm usually getting shots from this position, and then I'll go down here and then get shots from the side. They do a little catwalk on the past the desk here and come around, and you can get a little catwalk. Here they go right now. So this is Hokkaido. So what she's saying in the background is telling the mother the lineage of it. On the cattle walk. Yeah, the cattle walk. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. They're saying who the mother and the father is. That's really funny. But it's also really important, isn't it? That they know who... They actually track the lineage, and there's a 10-digit number on the ears. You see the yellow tags have a purpose. It has a barcode, and it also has a number on it. And that number, you can search on the Wagyu database and track the lineage back about 20, 25 years now, I think. And this is the young daughter, granddaughter. You can tell the size difference. Recently, they've been incorporating IC chips and other technology. I was interviewing a company that had a special device that was able to monitor the heat and the pulse of it, of the cattle, so they would be able to tell if there's an emergency coming. If the cattle do fall down, they could really get hurt and die, suffocate themselves, is what they told me. And having such a monitor, I mean, these cattle have a great value, but it's really hard to lose any life before the ultimate, sacrifice to make the meat. So these devices are they're still kind of pricey, but these devices are being utilized by more and more of the ranchers around Japan. There was even one device that I saw from a maker in Wakayama. They are dedicated to the mothers that are expecting babies and have a monitor to track the progress. And once the mother is about to give birth, it'll notify the rancher so he can get there and deliver the baby without any loss of life. I thought that was a pretty cool device. And the company came up with this. They do this kind of imaging for other industries, and they thought they would do this for the beef industry, and it's been it's new, but it's been pretty popular. So at least that's what they said. And I'd like to learn more about this kind of technology, how they're utilizing this to make the beef better. But in general, this competition is really important because every 5 years they hold this. The competition makes better meat. It makes better practices. It makes a better industry when everybody can come together in this kind of event. And it's, I think when they explain it to me, which some of the farmers ranchers have been able to do, it's a lot clearer. So I'm trying to give you that knowledge through this. It's just really cool to see 3 generations out there, isn't it? So they're the judges in the center. You see them right there? They look like police officers, but they're wearing, what do you call them? Porky pie hats or something? I forget. I don't know what they call. but they have the hats on. You can see they're touching the cattle. They're feeling it, the fur. They're judging the shape of it, of the ladies here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4 judges. And there's, you can see the ranchers holding them still so they can be inspected. There he is stroking the side. The reach around, I don't know what that's for. I don't know what that's for. So that's as far as the iPhone will zoom. They're doing a good job at keeping them in line. If you've ever, these are very big creatures, these Wagyu cattle, and it's hard to keep them in line. Some of them are really well trained, but they know the rancher. The rancher can look them in the eyes, and that can make a big impact because they're very accustomed to the people that they work with every day. When new people come to handle them, that's when often you have trouble because they don't trust them, they don't know them. I know I've had some time in some of the cow houses, and I've been able to establish connections, but it usually would take a little while in order to make a connection with the Wagyu cattle. They're very shy. It's not an aggressive breed, but they're all pretty much of the same breed. I've noticed that there might be some other ones. I see some brown-colored ones, but they're mostly Kuroge Wagyu Ushi Washu, which is the black-haired variety of Wagyu cattle, which is quite tasty. And it's hard to they're right in front of us. I shouldn't talk about food, but it's true though. I mean, it's hard to separate that. But you know, for me, it's most important to understand where my food comes from, and that understanding helps me be a better consumer of meat. And actually, as a result of doing these episodes, I actually eat less meat. I'm just a little bit more responsible with it. I don't take more than I need, and I understand now when I can't eat something that I'm wasting it more. So there's a lot of benefits to coming out to the farm and taking a look at the animals. I don't buy, I try to limit the cheap meats that I buy, and I try to purchase more ethically sourced meat. And you can see the care that they put into it, especially these are prize cattle. Wow, look at that straight line. That's perfect. I have to say, it's a really tough job because these cattle sometimes let loose number 1 and number 2. And there are some catchers around here. They have nets, and sometimes they make it in time, and sometimes they don't. You can see the stains on the ground. Just want to point that out. Those are some messes, but they do a really good job of cleaning it. And I think the stadium grounds is pretty, I don't know, sacred maybe, so you want to clean that up pretty fast. Up here are the flags of the prefectures, I believe. And you can see behind there the flags of the beef brands that are competing. It looks like samurai flags. Again, each brand has a lot of pride, and they believe in what they're doing. They believe in the quality of their beef. So they've come out here to cheer, and they want to win. Just 41 of the 47 prefectures are here, and the next event I believe is in Hokkaido, and possibly we'll have all the prefectures. But I wanted to ask the Kaicho, the man in charge, if he would consider bringing in foreign brands. I wonder if like U.S. Wagyu beef or Australian Wagyu beef or Singapore or Hong Kong or some of the others could compete here. I wonder what that would mean for Wagyu in general, if they just want to promote Japanese brands, or if they're interested in making this more international, because I think more international media would cover this, and the cattle agree. There's the Japanese flag. When they were giving speeches a couple days ago at the opening ceremony, all of the speech givers would bow to the flag, bow to the people on the left and the right, and then to the audience. It was quite respectful. Okay, let's take a look at the cattle walk. It has been a real challenge because of the end of the pandemic right now. This event was being held at a kind of unusual time. It seems like in the next week or two, Japan will be changing more of the policies with regards to the pandemic. But right now we're sort of in between, and it seems like the organizers had a little bit of a tough time deciding between taking really strict protocols and being more lax. And it's based on the situation right now. Things are actually pretty mild right now in Japan, so there's not too much of an issue. But if the wave had been much tougher, I'm sure that the policy would be harder. But they are monitoring the number of people that are in the arenas right now, so it doesn't get too full. I've been trying to get to know the uniforms of the people. I can't quite place this one. Is this maybe Tochigi or Oita? I'm not sure. I know Oita has been pretty strong lately. They won a subcategory last time in Sendai. That's where the 11th Wagyu Olympics was held 5 years ago. And the events are every 5 years, not like the Olympics every 4 years. I'm not quite sure why they do it every 5 years. It could have something to do with the breeding cycle of the Wagyu. There could be a bunch of stuff. Again, I'm sort of a beginner to this competitive event, but the more I learn about it, the more fascinating it is, because eventually these the cattle will become food. There's one thing that I learned about this event that is, you can hear one of them just couldn't wait. Just couldn't wait. Sorry about that. So one of the things that they don't judge is taste. And this is very critical. So when you go around the country eating Wagyu beef, you might be eating Kobe beef and thinking that's the best brand, or Miyazaki beef is the best brand. And maybe Lineage is quite strong, but it's hard to judge a brand's taste and say one is better than the other. It's basically up to the individual eater. Some people think that Omi-gyu is best, some people think Matsuzaka-gyu is best. The price might reflect that, demand and supply. But in general, it comes down to your personal preference. You might not like Wagyu at all. You might like plain Angus beef, with more red beef. So it really comes down to the preference of the chef or the customer, the eater, in the end. So I think this is a good way to keep that quality really high by competing. The farmers are always improving their methods to raise the cattle. Let's get back into the competition now. Katsuhiro is the name of the father. You know, the regional brands, and one of the things I want to kind of corner with this event is how important are the regional brands to tourism? A lot of people are now writing in the live chat. They like Matsuzaka beef, they like Kobe beef, they like, Yonezawa beef. The thing is, the location that you're in, that's probably going to be the best beef because it's the freshest, right? So if you're in Tokyo, they actually have a Tokyo local beef brand. It's not as well known, but Tokyo has countryside and islands as well. No, this is not the Westminster Dog Show. This is the Wagyu Olympics. Called. Whoa. You can see they're related. It's a mother and daughter talking to one another. They know each other well. And there's grandma, maybe. And mind you, the Wagyu beef, the older the beef gets, the tougher the meat becomes. So they often don't have cattle, I think 30 to 36 months, which seems like a very short life. That's the average age they go in for processing. Of course, there are breeding cows, and these cows are selected to become mothers. And these here have that lineage, and I don't think they're going to be eaten anytime soon. They're valuable as breeding cattle. Yesterday, I was really happy to see a division. I think they've had this in the past here. There's going to be a category 7, which judges the fat, because they want to dispel some of the myths abroad about the fat being bad, I think. There's a couple of issues with that, so they've added a new criteria. They're going to judge the fat quality. And at the other location for the Wagyu Olympics I'm going to this afternoon. But category 4, which I saw at the end of yesterday, were the mothers that have birthed more than 3 calves. And I wanted to bring that to you live, but I didn't have... Oh, he just caught it. He couldn't catch it in time. He tried really hard to catch it. All right, there's a cleanup crew. Mothers that had birthed 3 calves or more were here, and that was such a great... there's the cleanup crew. It's inevitable the contestants will have to go. But category 4, what I was saying is that it's really nice to see that they give that kind of attention to the birthing mothers that have given 3 births or more, and to celebrate that. The local lineage is something I think that's been lacking in the Wagyu industry. A lot of the beef will be coming from Okinawa or from Kagoshima or Miyazaki because they raise the most. And they would buy the cattle from there and finish them up in the regional areas for the last year or so. So I think it's better if the local brands, I think it's better if the local lineage is grown over generations, because then you'll have more local taste, I think, in it. And I mean, cattle shouldn't be traveling that far anyways, I think. In my experience, thank you, Brandania. Welcome. In my experience, the Wagyu farmers are all different. They all have different methods to raise them. Some of them will have 2 to a pen, 3 to a pen, 4 to a pen, or 5 to a pen. Some of them have larger pens. Some of them will have slightly smaller pens. All of them are pretty consistent with space and cleanliness. Some of them will play Mozart. Some of them will take out the ushi to go on walks. The thing is, every time that they don't particularly like to move, these kuroge ushi, this variety, they don't particularly like to go walking and stay in pasture as much as you think that might be paradise for them. They kind of like the life that they're in. Out in the pasture, it gets hot, gets cold, it's dangerous, wolves, poachers, I don't know. I'm just kind of making that up. But the point is, whenever they go out for a walk, they don't want to go too far away. They kind of want to just live stressless lives like teenagers playing video games in front of the TV. They like that. Yeah, Kelly, I don't know. I said wolves. Maybe in Hokkaido, I'm not sure. Foxes. Band of foxes. I don't know. I just know that when you have to pull them by the nose, which is what they do so they don't hurt themselves. It's also important to keep them from falling down sometimes. That's what the ring and the nose is for. And they get that, I don't know, within the first, I think after 6 months or so. It depends on the farm as well when they get the nose rings, but it does protect themselves and protect them, the cows, by having that in there. And you see, it's not a hard pull, just a slight pull will get them to go where they need to go. There's a crew, cleanup crew. In terms of drinking alcohol and beer, I have not actually heard of that. I think Matsuzaka had a promo video in the 1970s that went viral where you could see them drinking Keaton beer. I haven't actually met any farmers that use beer as a method to raise their cattle, although it might make tastier meat because it relaxes the cattle. They're drunk all the time. Doesn't mean they're going to be healthier, though. So I'm not sure what the benefits and not benefits of that are, but it's something I'll ask when I go up to film the next Wagyu video. And some of the things I might ask some of the farmers as well. But there's still a lot of misunderstanding about this industry. A lot of people still consider Kobe beef to be different than Japanese Wagyu. And you can tell that especially on TV news, when they can't pronounce Wagyu correctly, they don't know what they're talking about. There were a couple of news videos in the US, sensational stuff, talking about how US restaurants were calling it Wagyu beef when it was Japanese Wagyu, and they're totally different. They're actually not different. Kobe beef is a brand of Wagyu beef. There are dozens and dozens of brands across Japan. That's just the one that everybody knows. So I can understand why restaurants would call their beef Kobe beef, because people just don't know what Japanese Wagyu is. And it's hard to tell the difference. I'll be honest with you, I've had Kobe beef a lot, and I've had other brands of beef, and I can't really taste a huge difference between them. Some might have a little bit tastier oils, and you can taste the flavor in that. Kobe beef, you really can't tell a huge difference. Maybe you can in the price, but a lot of it will have to do with the chef that's cooking it and the food that's also surrounding the beef in the meal and the ambiance of the restaurant. You pay for a lot of stuff. So this is pretty much the event. There's no fighting, no wrestling. It's pretty peaceful. But when you put the three cattle together and they're being judged like this, it's really interesting to see the three of them standing together. I'll have pictures of the winners for this category in the main channel episode. So that's about it. I've come all the way to Kagoshima for this. This is one of 3 episodes that I'm producing. If you have any questions, I'm glad that you could join me on this and get a better understanding of Japanese Wagyu and the industry here. Leave a question in the comments below for this live stream. I'll be in another live stream probably later today. I'm going to a fishing village down in the south of Kagoshima and then to Miyazaki the day after that. But I'll be stopping here 2 more times to get a couple more shots. Thank you, Jason. You can support the channel with a super thanks or join the Postcard Club on Patreon. This month is the Shinkansen 150 years of trains in Japan, a very special stamp. And I'll have it postmarked from the first train station in Japan, which is Shimbashi Station from 1872, I believe. That'd be 150 years. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you again real soon. Enjoy a little bit more cow action. And don't forget to hit that like button. I appreciate it all. The catwalk. That's Shimane Prefecture because they have the best cowboy hats. I love it. Look at that. Everybody should have cowboy hats, don't you think? Right? Yeehaw. See everybody. Have a good day.